Hey, this week we're going to learn a new software. We're going to learn um, two softwares for this course. I don't know how much Photoshop we'll get into, but the main software we're going to learn is Adobe Lightroom Classic. Okay? So in the first week I said download through the Creative Cloud Adobe Lightroom Classic and Photoshop. And I make the distinction about Classic because there's an Adobe Lightroom that's kind of like more for the iPad and in the phone and stuff like that. So it doesn't have as much stuff as this program does. I think they're similar, but this is the one we want to use. So Lightroom is a great program. I really like it quite a bit. It's a mix of a few Adobe products, but it's a nice way to look at all your images, um, put them into folders, organize them, break them into different collections, um, retouch them, work on them, all that stuff. So we're really going to get into that over the course of the next 5 weeks. So this week we're going to kind of work on importing, brightening, breaking down into collections, and then outputting as contact sheets, and we're going to make a little slideshow. Okay, so when we open up Lightroom, there's not a lot going on until we um, import some photos. Okay, and even this is the prompt here, import. All right. A couple things that we want to do before we get into um, that, or just kind of look at it. These are the different modules. So this is the library module. So this is like moving around. When we click on the develop module, that'll take us to brightening, sharpening, enhancing, all that kind of stuff. We can output a book. We can do a slideshow. We can print. We can pre-format for the web. All that like kind of stuff. Map gets into like looking at metadata and all that stuff. So I'm going to just kind of push my memory card in. All right. And typically a prompt comes up like, oh, you inserted a card, but it didn't this time. So maybe it's still reading. I don't know. I'm going to hit the import button anyways, and I'm going to import the photos off my card. Okay. So, yeah, it actually sees it right there. All right. Nikon, it's going into this folder. All of them are checked. Okay, if I didn't want to have them checked, if I didn't want to import them, I wouldn't, I would just uncheck them. Okay, so first thing we need to do when we get into here is like right up here is this copy option. Okay, so copy is going to copy these images and it's going to bring them to somewhere. Okay, so let's go over here and let's look at file handling. Okay, so a couple of things we want to have checked. We want to have build smart previews, and we want to have don't import suspected duplicates. Okay, build smart previews is kind of a weird one, but I think you should have it checked. And that's for if you like working on, like say a lot of you or a lot of people I know like only have their photos on a hard drive. Okay, so they move them from their memory card to a big like terabyte hard drive because they don't want to clog up their desktop computer or their laptop. Okay, so what Build Smart Previews does is it allows you to um, make a, well, I'm going to say it, smart preview, where like if you didn't have the the hard drive plugged in, you could still work on and edit the photo, okay? It wouldn't allow you to print it or anything. It would just allow you um, to continue editing it, all right? So it kind of keeps like a skeleton there of the photo, okay? So the main thing about Lightroom is what it's doing is it's basically making a catalog um, of negatives, okay? So the cool thing about Lightroom is that when we kind of retouch it or all that kind of stuff we do, all the adjustments we're going to make, it's all non-destructive, meaning that like all the adjustments don't alter the original file, okay? So that's really cool as well. And like in Photoshop, you kind of have to make Photoshop, you have to work in Photoshop a certain way that is non-destructive, so you kind of have to know. This program does it for you, which again, I think is kind of cool. All right, so if you want to rename the files, you can. All right, I could call this, and it might be good to do that if you want. So I have rename files checked. I'm going to come up here. I'll go custom name, and then the text, I'll call it project 2. And then extension, that's fine. I'll just leave it as a number, and then it's all just going to kind of come in. All right. So now the important one is destination. All right. And you really want to make sure you're putting these where they should go. All right. So, oop, I closed that by accident. All right. So I'm going to send them to my C drive. So I have a bunch of drives here. I have the Nikon. This is my computer. This is a portable I have plugged in. No, that's actually a backup drive in the computer, 2 terabyte. And here I have, this is a portable drive, okay? So I'm going to put it onto the computer, all right? And then I'm going to go in, I'm going to find my folder. My wife and I share this computer, so this is her up here. This is me, I'm in the documents. Click here, and I just made, before I started, like a little folder called Photo 1. All right, so I'm going to put them right into that folder, and I'm going to hit import. And here's just like a handful of quick photos that I took, so I had something to show. And they're still coming. Here they go. And that's okay. There we go. Okay, so now I'm back in like the normal Lightroom. All right, all my files are in here. Okay, let's see what happened. Okay, so a little something, it broke them into 2 folders because I actually imported these like a couple days ago. And then the new ones came into a new folder. All right, so it was like kind of already there. So, caught me. But it's in this folder called 2020, and there's 37 files, and they're broken into here. All right, so like these are the base folders where they're always going to be. Okay, we're going to get into moving them into collections, okay, and breaking them down to the different parts of the assignments. But this is the basic look of Lightroom. So I can like click through. Okay, I can see some information. All right, right now I'm in grid view. Okay, which isn't that different. All right, I can make the thumbnails bigger if I want. Okay, and I could also switch to loop view. So now I'm like looking at each photo individually. Okay, and we'll get into like all the different views that you can do. But the two basic ones you need to know for this week are grid view, okay, and loop view. All right, and there's little shortcuts there too. So I can go to E, oops, sorry, I'm already on E. G is for grid, E is for loop, okay? G, E. All right, let's stop there, and then we're going to get into breaking down into different collections, and then after that we'll look into like making some light adjustments.